Good evening. We appreciate you all coming tonight. If we could take our seats, we'll get this meeting underway. We do appreciate all of you in attendance. It's always nice to have our chambers full. Let the roll call reflect that all council members are present here tonight. We will turn the time at this point to Vice Chair White for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you. We have two gentlemen, Caillou and Jacob. If you'd come up, please. Come up right to this podium.
On the other side, guys.
On the other side. There you go. Please rise.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks, guys. Can you just real quick give us your full name and tell us what merit badge you're working on?
Okay. My name is Jacob Stott, and I am working on my citizenship merit badge.
I am Caillou Ephraim Hanks, and I am also working on my citizenship merit badge.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's good to have these young men come and do this for us, and it's nice that their leader and they are in their scout uniform. That's always impressive. Please now join us for a moment of silence. Thank you. First item on our agenda tonight is some recognitions. The first is Hispanic Heritage Month, and we've asked Councilmember Garner if he would read that for us.
I will, thank you. And also, we have Jose Marquez, who will be doing the Spanish interpretation for me. And Jose is the Public Relations Executive Director for LUPEC. And so I'm grateful for his assistance tonight. So Jose, if you want to come up to the microphone, we'll use that as an interpreter for your interpretation. So it's my honor to read this declaration declaring September 15th to October 15th, 2015 as Hispanic Heritage Month in Ogden City. And whereas throughout the history of Ogden, people have come from all parts of the globe to call our community home, this rich diversity provides a community character that is distinctive from all other cities in Utah. Having a diverse population enriches our community and serves as one of our greatest assets. The individuals and families who are Hispanic, Latino, and live in Ogden have a profound and positive influence on our community through their strong commitment to family, faith, hard work, and service. They enhance and shape our local character with traditions that reflect their multi-ethnic and multicultural backgrounds.
Proclamación conjunta del Consejo de la Ciudad de Ogden y el alcalde, declarando el 15 de septiembre al 15 de octubre del 2015 el mes de la herencia hispana en la ciudad de Ogden. Mientras a lo largo de la historia de Ogden, la gente ha venido de todas partes del mundo para llamar a nuestra comunidad su hogar. Esta rica diversidad proporciona un carácter de comunidad que se distingue de todas las otras ciudades en Utah. Tener una población diversa enriquece nuestra comunidad y sirve como uno de nuestros mayores atributos. Los individuos y las familias que son hispano-latinas y viven en Ogden tienen una influencia profunda y positiva en nuestra comunidad a través de su firme compromiso con la familia, la fe, el trabajo y el servicio. Realzan y modelan nuestro carácter local con las tradiciones que reflejan sus orígenes multiétnicos y multiculturales.
And whereas the Hispanic and Latino people of Ogden strengthen our community and bring much promise to our future through their significant cultural, social, economic, and charitable contributions, Hispanic Heritage Month celebrates the histories, cultures, and contributions of residents whose ancestors came from Mexico, Central and South America, Spain, and the Caribbean.
Mientras la población hispana y latina de Ogden fortalecen nuestra comunidad y la proporcionan una gran promesa para nuestro futuro a través de sus contribuciones culturales, sociales, económicas y caritativas. El mes de la hispanidad celebra las historias, culturas y contribuciones de los residentes, cuyos antepasados vinieron de México, Centro y Sudamérica, España y el Caribe.
And whereas in 1968, the United States Congress and President Lyndon B. Johnson passed the first resolution to celebrate Hispanic Heritage Week, this was later expanded by President Ronald Reagan to include a month-long celebration from September 15th to October 15th. These dates were selected to coincide with the independence of 8 countries: Costa Rica, El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, Nicaragua, Mexico, Chile, and Belize.
Mientras en 1968 el Congreso de los Estados Unidos y el presidente Lyndon B. Johnson aprobó la primera resolución para celebrar la Semana de la Herencia Hispana. Esto se amplió más tarde por el presidente Ronald Reagan para incluir un mes de celebración desde el 15 de septiembre al 15 de octubre. Estas fechas fueron seleccionadas para que coincidiera con el Día de la Independencia de 8 países: Costa Rica, El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, Nicaragua, México, Chile y Belice.
And whereas this commemorative month honors the influence and impact of Hispanics and Latinos in all spheres of society, commemorating Hispanic Heritage Month gives us each an opportunity to take pride in these roots and to help promote the rich diversity that these cultures have to offer.
Mientras este mes conmemorativo rinde homenaje a la influencia y al impacto de los hispanos y latinos en todos los ámbitos de la sociedad, conmemorando el mes del patrimonio hispano, nos da a cada uno la oportunidad de enorgullecerse de esas raíces y ayudar a promover la rica diversidad que ofrecen las culturas hispanas.
Now therefore, the Ogden City Council and Mayor Michael P. Caldwell hereby proclaim September 15th to October 15th, 2015 as Hispanic Heritage Month in Ogden City. We express our sincere gratitude and recognition for Latinos United Promoting Education and Civic Engagement, LUPEC, Weber State University, Ogden Weber Tech College, and all others within our community who are working to embrace Hispanic Latino cultures and improve immigrant integration.
Ahora, por tanto, el Consejo de la Ciudad de Ogden y el alcalde Michael P. Caldwell proclaman el 15 de septiembre al 15 de octubre del 2015 el mes de la herencia hispana en la ciudad de Ogden. Queremos expresar nuestro más sincero agradecimiento y reconocimiento a la organización Latinos Unidos, promoviendo la educación y participación cívica, LUPEC, Weber State University, Ogden Weber Tech College y todos los demás dentro de nuestra comunidad que están trabajando para incluir a las culturas hispano-latinas y mejorar la integración de los inmigrantes.
A Hispanic Heritage Celebration event will be held at Ogden's Union Station on October 10th, 2015, from 3 to 8 p.m. This event highlights the many cultures represented in our community. Residents will enjoy live music, dancing, and authentic food and cultural education. City leaders will read and present this joint proclamation during the event at 6 p.m. We encourage residents to share in this special event and to celebrate the generations of Hispanic Latinos who have positively influenced and enriched our community and nation.
Una celebración de la herencia hispana se llevará a cabo en el Union Station en Ogden el 10 de octubre de 2015 de 3 de la tarde a 8 de la noche. Este evento pone en relieve muchas de las culturas representadas en nuestra comunidad. Residentes de la ciudad podrán disfrutar de música en vivo, baile, comida auténtica y educación cultural. Líderes de la ciudad leerán y presentarán esta proclamación conjunta durante el evento a las 6 de la tarde. Exhortamos a los residentes a convivir en este evento especial y a celebrar las generaciones de hispano-latinos que han influido positivamente y enriquecido nuestra comunidad y nación.
Thank you. So with that, I make a motion that we adopt proposed joint proclamation declaring September 15th to October 15th, 2015 as Hispanic Heritage Month in Ogden City.
I second it.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilmember Garner, seconded by Councilmember Stevens, presenting September 15th to October 15th, 2015 as Hispanic Heritage Month in Ogden City. This is a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, good.
And then as a reminder, please come on Saturday.
We do have several people here that are wanting to speak to this. I think I'll just list you off and have you come up one by one. We first have President Charles White of Weber State University that would like to address us. Welcome.
Thank you, and buenas noches, everyone. Thank you very much to everyone on the Ogden City Council, to Bill Cook, to Mayor Mike Caldwell and Mark Johnson, to our partners at the Ogden Weber Tech College who are here tonight. President Colette Mercier is here with her team. To LUPEC, to our fellow Weber State Wildcats, and to everyone who helped to make this celebration possible. I'm pleased to join all of you in celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month in Ogden. We have lots of great events, including Saturday. I want to put in a shameless plug for an event that occurs on the last day of the month, October 15th. State Senator Luz Robles Escamilla will be coming to Weber State University to give a speech entitled Hispanic Heritage, A Call to Action. That'll be at 10:30 a.m. in the Wildcat Theater in our Shepherd Union. Our cultural heritage is part of what makes us who we are and who our children will become. Education is a gift of that heritage, and Weber State University is proud to help to make that gift accessible to everyone. An institution can only fulfill its true potential for educational excellence by embracing diversity. The deepest learning experiences occur when people gather together to discuss their differences. By engaging others with different backgrounds, cultures, experiences, different values, and different opinions, we stand to learn a great deal from each other. And then, sometimes there are times when we have the privilege of not just discussing our differences, but celebrating them. Now is one of those times. Thank you all for helping to make Ogden a vibrant community with an increasingly rich cultural heritage. Thank you all.
Thank you, President. Next, we're pleased to have with us tonight President Colette Mercier of the Ogden Weber Applied Technology College. Welcome.
Thank you. It is such a pleasure to be here this evening on behalf of the Tech College. This is such a wonderful community to live in, and to be able to be part of a group that comes together to celebrate the diversity of its community and really moves us forward because of the diversity that we have in our community is really the place where obviously all of us here want to be, where we want to live and to be able to contribute. We all gain so much from it. I don't know if I've mentioned this before. I'm not originally from Utah. I'm from the state of Michigan and grew up in Detroit, which has a very rich history of diversity. So there was a little trepidation in coming to Utah until I had the opportunity to realize in Ogden, the diversity that is here is absolutely marvelous. And I was so pleased to be able to bring my children up in a community that has such rich history and rich diversity. So it is such a pleasure to be here, to be part of this event. We will certainly be actively involved in the future of the community and all of the individuals here, and certainly look forward to this wonderful event coming up on Saturday as well, as we continue to work with the city and all of the community agencies on behalf of moving our entire community forward for the betterment of all of the citizens within the Ogden area. Thank you very much.
Thank you, President. Next, we have Renato Olmedo. Oh, nope, sorry. Hold that one. We have David Ultarilla, Honorary Consul of Peru. Welcome. Hope I didn't butcher your name.
Thank you so much. It's Utrilla, but don't worry. You don't have to.
Thank you.
I'm accustomed to hear different things. But in any case, thank you so much for this invitation, and I want to express my gratitude for this declaration. I consider myself a citizen of Ogden. I have lived here for many years. All of my 4 children were born here in Ogden, and have wonderful memories. I started my college life here in Ogden, and I came from Peru. And then, of course, I raised my family here in Ogden. I attended Weber State University, and I started my business here in Ogden too. And such a wonderful memories. I think Ogden is a place that is special, not just to you guys, but for many people. There's so many accolades, especially lately, about how wonderful Ogden is and how the economy is growing in this city. And a lot of people ask perhaps the question, what is their secret sauce? Or what is the secret that they have? I believe that is diversity. Ogden is one of the most diverse cities that we have in the state of Utah. And I would like to share with you some information, statistics. Recently, I was just giving an address to the FBI, and we were talking about it was about the youth, the Hispanic Heritage Month too. And some of the things that were impressive to see is that currently, Hispanics are 17.4% of the U.S. population. Hispanics are almost 19%. They are 19% in the state of Utah, and is the largest and fastest growing ethnic group in the state. Another statistic that is good to know is that a lot of the Hispanics that come to Utah, they want to come here to live their American dream. And what is the American dream is the freedom of legal rights, protection, and financial independence, opportunity of employment and education. As far as the business goes, Hispanics-owned firms outpace the growth of non-minority-owned firms by 44%. That's a huge difference. Employment at Hispanic firms also surpass employment at non-minority-owned firms, growing by 26% from 1.5 million workers to 1.9 million workers. On average, Hispanic business owners are more financially active and invest more than non-business owning Hispanics. A lot is being said about the English language too. Yes, it is true. A lot of first-generation Hispanics that come here, English is not their first language. Many times they don't learn to speak the language. However, their children, they become bilingual, and in many cases, English is their first language. But by the time that the third generation hits, they are only English speakers. Many of them, they don't even speak Spanish. So English always will remain the main language in the community where they live. And I believe also that the more that, as a Hispanics, that we learn the language, we can easier communicate with everybody, and we can be more prosperous too. 74% million dollars were paid in state taxes by unauthorized immigrants in Utah in 2012, including sales taxes, personal income taxes, and property taxes. Immigrants were 10.8% of the state's workforce in 2013. Unauthorized immigrants were 5.1% of the state workforce in 2012. And there is so many other things that I may address, but I just wanted to say that this is a huge step that a city like Ogden is making in recognizing and acknowledging the importance of diversity. We as a Hispanic community are wonderful. We feel welcome here, and we have a great deal of gratitude for what the community and the opportunities that we receive in this particular city. Thank you so much.
Thank you, David. from Renato Olmedo, representing Eduardo Arnal Palomera from the Mexican Consulate. Welcome. Glad to have you with us.
Hello. Buenas tardes. On behalf of the Consulate of Mexico, I would like to thank all of you, City Council, Mayor. But I think the congrats should be given to the community, because I think it's you that are here. And I would also like to speak as a member of the community. I've been calling Utah my home for the past 10 years. 9.5 out of those, I was undocumented immigrant, and it was something that shaped me, the way I see the world, the way I see my community, and the way I want to change things for the best, because we're all part of this community, and we are all, regardless of where you are, we are a beautiful part of it's everyone. These actions like this impact. Many of us want to go to school. Many of us want to continue our dreams, not only as immigrants, but also as Americans. And I think that's something very important. Lastly, I would like to call, I don't think this is a call to action for everyone, not to just consider September 15th through October 15th Hispanic or Latino Heritage Month, but every single day of the year. Because we live here, we're part of you, and thank you for everything you do. Y gracias a todos ustedes.
I would like to hear from a familiar face in these chambers, Jesse Garcia, who is a former council member. Welcome.
Thank you. First, I just want to say it's a pleasure to address you and give you maybe just a little bit of history of the Latino community in Ogden. First of all, let me start off with there's a settlement just west of here on the riverbanks, Weber River, that's called Fort Buenaventura, although it's not a Spanish or Hispanic settlement. The name is Spanish, nonetheless. Also, in that part of the history, during the time of, in that time of, there was a, excuse me, I'm kind of nervous. I'm not over there with you guys anymore. During the travels of Dominguez and Escalante, just after that, there was a Jesuit priest ruins found just on the west side of 2nd Street, and what used to be known as Bingham's Fort. What happened to them ruins has been a question for quite some time. And now we get to the 1900s. Many of the Hispanic Latino community came to Ogden seeking work with the railroad, many of which did so in their 5th and 6th generation now. I can tell you this, my deceased mother-in-law was born in Garden City, 1925. Her father worked in the railroad here in Ogden. A little bit of history there. Also, we had the Braceros programs, where they contracted with Mexico and brought some farm laborers to come and, of course, harvest the crops, not only here in Ogden, but in the United States. We also had the migrant farm workers, which I am a part of. My father came here in the middle, well, actually in the early 50s. He and my older brothers. They then sent for myself, my mother, and other brothers and sisters. I've been here all but 4 months of my life. I was brought here in 1953. And to some of the other Latino residents that have been here for quite some time, we've also had many businesses. We've had, like the Monterrey restaurant, run by the Gonzalez family from 1960 to in the later 70s. We have a lady, Irene, I forgot her last name, she'll kill me, but anyway, who ran a restaurant called Fiesta Latina for just under 50 years. We have Roy Mendoza, who has a used car dealership on Washington Boulevard, about 17th Street. I say that because there have been so many businesses and leaders in our community, and have been here for many, many years, and really have given a lot to this community, not only of themselves, but of their families. We have Senor Villalobos, his name was Güero Villalobos, who had one of the first Latino bars on 25th Street from the 60s to the 70s, actually from the 50s to the 70s. So we've had many restaurants and things like that, of course. We've had, many educators, and least of which, some that are very important to me, are Santiago Jim Sandoval, who was the first ever Latino vice superintendent of Ogden City Schools. We also had his sister, the first Latina and first woman who was the superintendent of Ogden City Schools. We've had Hispanic policymakers. We've had John Middlebury, who, of course, represented parts of Ogden and Roy. We have Alex Hurtado, who was in the late 60s or early 70s, I believe, was appointed to the city council. We have a very dear friend of mine, Cristina Morales, who is the first Latina and only Latino that was elected to the Ogden City School Board. We have had many organizations that advocate for the Latino community. We had Benito Juarez in the 60s and 70s. We had Club Socio in the same time period. We had the American GI Forum, who has been around for many, many years, late 50s, and I believe some of them are still around. I've not heard of a lot from them, but I know they are. We had an organization called Hispanos Unidos de Utah. We also had Image de Utah, and now LUPEC. And there are many names, organizations, and businesses that I forgot, and for that I do apologize. But for all Latinos, past, present, and future, I would like to thank you all very much and applaud you for this proclamation, and thank you.
Thank you, Jesse. On behalf of the mayor, we'd like to hear from Mark Johnson. The mayor is out of town and got the next best thing.
The shorter, overweight, older version, yes. Mayor Caldwell asked me to read just the following explanation where he is, and I quote, "The Outdoor Industry Association reached out months ago to ask if I would be willing to deliver a keynote address at their annual conference." By the way, they only asked 3 mayors to speak at that conference. I agreed, not being aware of the conflict, and I'm sincerely sorry that I couldn't make both happen. He will, however, be available on Saturday and plans to attend and is excited about that. It was mentioned earlier, this secret sauce that Ogden has. Recently, we had a wonderful article in Newsweek magazine, which we were the cover story of Newsweek, which I'm not sure Ogden ever has been, to my knowledge. The reporter, when she was here doing her story, asked Mayor Caldwell, "What is the secret sauce of Ogden?" And he told them, "It's our people, all of them." And I think one of the key things that I have been evolving to is the all of them part, which I think is very, very important to embrace. The railroad started off Ogden many, many years ago as a city of a diverse population. We had diversity in religion, we had diversity in politics, we had diversity from cultural backgrounds. Most cities in the state of Utah, if any, are as familiar with how to work through some of the diverse population issues that Ogden has. Frequently, I get comments from all over the state of Utah complimenting Ogden that they have figured it out, and we really haven't, but we're better at it than probably anyone else in the state of Utah. I believe that this diverse population, which gives us a chance to enjoy a rich community, and as the proclamation states, it has become one of our greatest assets. I think we can continue to capitalize it and enhance it. There's been a lot of progress that's been made in the last year or two. There's a lot more that needs to be made. And this is certainly a significant piece of being able to recognize other cultures and other parts of our population that we need to embrace, and they need to become part of us and one of us. The mayor and I look forward to the celebration on Saturday commemorating this Hispanic Heritage Month. We want to thank Bill Cook, Adrian Andrews, LUPEC, Weber State University, Ogden Weber Tech College, and many, many others in our community who are working to build trust with all of our residents. We thank you for being willing to pass this resolution tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any council members that would like to say something?
I don't know of a politician who has small, short speeches. I've never heard one before, but I would like to thank Jesse. When I first came on the council as a young council member, he was on the council and he added stability to our council and great knowledge in many of the opportunities there. So I thank you, Jesse, for that opportunity. As I've been listening here today, we're coming as partners to an event and association with one another to develop the city of Ogden. We develop Ogden so that we can learn, so that we can work and have fun here. We come together to share and learn and associate together. And that's what we're going to do on Saturday. But we need to do that throughout the entire year. It has been said that diversity is the element by which we're coming together. But I also see diversity is an opportunity to come together to share common goals and common ideas. My only suggestion to you is that don't lose your language. You have a positive and an advantage over those who only understand English. There you understand both English and Spanish. Tonight I've heard several statements: enrichment, positive, cultural development, economic opportunities, charitable contribution. All these add to a stable and an organized and a well-rounded community. And you're part of that in doing that for Ogden. The strength of Ogden is how we mesh together, and we're proud to have you here in our community to share and to give us strength, and I thank you for that.
Thank you. Member Garner.
Yes, thank you. I first want to say thank you for many of the names that have been mentioned by Mark Johnson, but for the opportunity. We've had to work in small groups to discuss issues, to eat meals together, to really talk about our families and our community. And it's been a pleasure to work with you. I look forward to celebrating with you and to continue to enjoy the diversity of our community. So thank you for the opportunity to read the proclamation tonight, and I also look forward to celebrating on Saturday, but also continuing to celebrate throughout the year as we continue on this journey of diversity and understanding of each other's cultures and meshing those together in a way that celebrates the cultures, not pulling us apart. So thank you.
Any other council members? Councilmember Gochner.
Yes, I just will take one quick second and salute all of you for taking time to come tonight and celebrate the passage of this proclamation. So thanks for your time.
Follow up a little bit and say that, trust doesn't come without gaining some respect, and respect doesn't come without some of the pains and working together and understanding and the communication. And so I think the partners that we continue to work with bring a lot of that together. And so I appreciate the gaining of respect and eventual trust between all of our organizations. So thank you for being here.
Okay.
Gladly, I'll
Yes.
say something. I would just like to thank all those that have worked to bring this to fruition and to make this happen. I won't be able to say it as eloquently as many of you have or as other council members, so I will keep mine short. But I do appreciate the diversity and the different cultures that we have here in our community and the opportunities that I had as a youth growing up and to learn from others and to experience other cultures and other traditions and the opportunity that my children have to experience other cultures and to learn from others and to see the world through others' eyes. And it's neat, and it really is something that makes our community special. Other communities try to fabricate different diversities and different cultural events, and we have that here. We have it here in an abundance, and I'm thankful for it. It's why I live here. It's why I'm thankful for where I live, and I applaud all of you for allowing us to work with you and to make that happen. So thank you.
I have something. I mean, people ask what the special sauce is. I think it has spice. Diversity is spice. I grew up in Bountiful. It's pretty bland. And I choose to live in Ogden because of the diversity. My family comes from diverse backgrounds. We're not all the same. And I think that's what makes Ogden so vibrant. I think it's what makes our community interesting. And I think it is something that is going to move us forward in the future if we work together and celebrate our differences, but also all of the things we have in common too. So thank you for being here.
Thank you. I would like to say a couple of things about of my observations about Hispanics and Latins in general. You all are very family oriented. You love your children. You hold them close. You're hardworking. You have good ethics. And those things, I think, are great examples for the rest of us. The diversity that we have in our community is, I was born and raised in Ogden, and I've just experienced it. I thought that's the way it was. Apparently it's not everywhere else, but it's been something that I've been raised with. Some of my closest friends are Latins, and I've appreciated them and learned much from them. Some new friends, some old friends. Appreciate this opportunity to make this recognition tonight, to celebrate this diversity. This, a community is the sum of the parts, kind of, but there's something about it, that magical sauce, that special sauce thing has been talked about several times tonight. It's difficult to just produce, to reproduce. It's something that has grown into something great here in Ogden. Appreciate the opportunity to be able to make this recognition tonight, and appreciate all of you being here in attendance. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
To Saturday, when we get to make this official. Thank you again. The next item on our agenda tonight is Community Planning Month, and we have a few planning commissioners here tonight, as well as we've asked Vice Chair White if she would read that proclamation. Maybe we'll give it just a second for those who want to leave. Thank you again for being here.
Councilmember Blair is leaving as well. Thank you.
Mr. Symes, welcome.
Thank you. Well, let me just first say thank you for allowing us to put this proclamation on your agenda again for consideration this year. As I think all of you are aware, the American Planning Association has declared October as National Community Planning Month. And the APA encourages each community to adopt a proclamation declaring Community Planning Month in each of those communities as a way to recognize all the planning efforts made by both the professional and the citizen planners. This year's APA theme is Healthy Communities and Healthy People. And over the last year, I think the city's been involved in several things that really would fit well with that theme. The first of which is this last phase of the transit study to get a transit project or transit system here in our community. The city has also been involved in a bicycle master plan study, and this would improve the bicycle network and bicycle infrastructure here in our community. And in addition to these two studies, the city's been working with Wasatch Front Regional Council to develop a complete streets policy. So all of these things together will obviously allow our citizens to choose other modes of transportation other than just cars, and that certainly helps us to plan for a healthier community. So in addition to these things, the Planning Department and the Planning Commission have been working over the last year to develop a community plan for the Gibson Community Plan area. And of course, as always, our community development and our economic development division has done great work over the last year to continue to revitalize downtown and East Central and the city as a whole. Now, this obviously doesn't represent everything that's been done over the last year and everything that will be done over the next year to contribute to community planning, but these are certainly some of the highlights. So as I said last year when I introduced this, I think we do great planning here in Ogden, and this is certainly a fantastic opportunity to recognize that planning that we do here. So again, thank you for allowing us to put this proclamation on your agenda for consideration.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Vice Chair White.
With that, I would like to read a joint proclamation of the Ogden City Council and Mayor declaring October 2015 Community Planning Month in Ogden City. Whereas change is constant and affects all cities, towns, suburbs, counties, boroughs, townships, rural areas, and other places. And whereas community planning can help guide this change in a way that provides better choices for how people live and work. And whereas community planning provides an opportunity for all residents to be meaningful, involved in making choices that determine the future of their community. And whereas the benefit of community planning requires public officials and citizens who understand, support, and demand excellence in planning and plan implementation. And whereas the month of October is designated as National Community Planning Month throughout the United States of America and its territories. And whereas the American Planning Association and its professional institute, the American Institute of Certified Planners, endorse National Community Planning Month as an opportunity to highlight the contributions sound planning and plan implementation make to the quality of our cities and environment. And whereas the Planning Association's 2015 theme of Healthy Communities, Healthy People complements Ogden City's efforts to develop a transit system connecting Weber State University to downtown and the region's largest transit network, and to encourage alternative modes of transportation through the promotion of complete streets concepts and bicycle master planning. The theme also complements the city's continued efforts to revitalize the downtown core and surrounding neighborhoods. And whereas the celebration of National Community Planning Month gives us the opportunity to publicly recognize the participation and dedication of the members of planning commissions and all other citizen planners who have contributed their time and expertise to the improvement of Ogden, Utah. And whereas the celebration also gives us the opportunity to recognize the many valuable contributions made by the professional community planners of Ogden, Utah, which includes the city's planning staff and the city's Community and Economic Development Department, and extend heartfelt thanks for the continued commitment of public service of these professionals. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Ogden City Council and Mayor Michael P. Caldwell hereby proclaim October 2015 Community Planning Month in Ogden City. Community Planning Month in Ogden, Utah is part of a nationwide recognition and celebration of community planning and it is an opportunity to recognize all the citizen and professional planners who have diligently worked to make Ogden a unique and vibrant place to live, work, learn, and play. With that, I propose that we adopt the joint proclamation declaring October 2015 Community Planning Month.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion by Vice Chair White and seconded by Councilmember Wicks to adopt October as
Community Planning.
Community Planning Month. Sorry, thank you for that. This is a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. We have several members of the Planning Commission as well as our Planning Director,
Guys.
Mr. Greg Montgomery. Would like to hear from each and every one of you. At least we'll be recognized.
Okay, somebody come up and.
Somebody come up and.
We'll have Greg come up.
You wonder if he's trying to get even with you
And we
over
have a
something.
camera. We have a camera. We need your pictures. We do a lot of photo taking
Chair of
here.
the Planning Commission.
You want to come up?
Chair Wright, please come forward.
I think one thing I just, maybe to sum up what you've read and how it impacts people. This afternoon, I was leading a tour of students from USU who are going to be working on a project with us. And we went over to the River Project, and as we were walking and talking about the design concepts involved, a lady with 3 of her daughters was coming out of one of the units. And she came up and she said, are you touring the place here? And we said, yeah. She says, this is the best place to live I have ever been in. And when you saw that and the 3 little daughters she had, and they were going to go to visit a neighbor just a couple buildings down, you thought this is what it really is all about, creating a sense of place for people where they can feel comfortable and have pride in. And I think that's, when we talk about Community Planning Month, and I appreciate Glenn's efforts to spearhead this, this is really what it's all about. And with all the recognition and things we hear all the time about Ward City is getting, having a place for people to live where they feel proud and comfortable is really what it's all about and why we do what we do.
Thank you. Chair
Well
Wright.
done. Yes. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. Ogden is my city. I was born here. I was raised here. I've lived in a couple other places, but Ogden's where I was raised. My children have been raised, and my husband, my family. I go back on my father's side with the railroad, coming here for the railroad, and my mother through the pioneers. But Ogden is the place where I really have loved to live. With the Planning Commission, has given me the opportunity to go back to Philadelphia, Delaware, to New Jersey, and to see what was happening to their downtown and how they were progressing and they were ghost towns. And one of them in Delaware, the last main store was left, and there was no stores on the main street. They'd gone to the malls. And we went to New Jersey, and they said, we're trying to get it back. We're trying to get this downtown back. And I kept saying, we've got it back. We have our downtown very vibrant, and things are happening here, and I'm so proud of it. I'm proud that my children went to Ogden High and the Mount Ogden Junior High School, and I went to Central, all in downtown Ogden. And the diversity that was there, I loved this with the Spanish and the Latinos and being honored, because I have loved being in part of Ogden and this diversity. And I could go on and on. I'm a school teacher. Would you like? But I just really appreciate all that we're doing with planning, and I love to know what's happening with downtown. And as Greg knows, I said, what's happening here, what's happening there, because I want to know. And I appreciate this opportunity to serve on the Planning Commission. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Scatty, Commissioner Holman, any comments?
Well, Commissioner Howard, you do know I'm a pastor.
That's right.
So we like to talk.
Amen.
Amen. But I do appreciate the opportunity to serve on the Ogden City Planning Commission. It has been a joy to see Ogden transform and transition from where it is to it is today. Like Chair Wright, I'm a native Ogdenite, graduated from Ogden High School, went to Central Junior High School and Grant Elementary, and I have seen the community just grow. There are great things that are happening here. There are activities and things for not only those who are seasoned, such as myself, but for those who are young and young at heart. And I see a potential here that I don't see anywhere else. That's one thing about, I'm a former military wife and have traveled a bit, and have seen a lot of places, both internationally and here in the local continental United States, but there's something unique about Ogden. It is just a beautiful place. The mountains are just majestic, and it is just a joy to serve with a community that wants to better itself, to grow together with diversity among ourselves, and also know that the best is really yet to come. And we're going forward, and we're going forward in unity, and we're going forward with a plan to make this area and this city one that we can all be proud of, whether we're coming from various places, where we're migrants here, or whatever the situation or circumstance may be. But we're all here, we're all on one accord, and great things are coming forth, and I'm excited about it. So again, thank you for this privilege to stand before you, and thank you for acknowledging the work that and the service that is done with the citizenry here. And I also want to, as the young people say, give a shout out to Greg Montgomery and our planning staff. They really make our jobs easy. And I want to say thank you for all of your hard work, for your entire staff, for serving along with us. And again, let's run on and see what the end's going to be. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank you.
I think we do have to hear from Commissioner Scatty. He is the longest tenured planning commissioner, I think, in the history of Ogden.
He could just get up and say no.
He could.
Scout uniform, he can say no.
Yeah, he and I were both appointed the same day, but he's got 4 years longer than I now. So anyway, glad to have you with us.
I appreciate so much this opportunity. I've got 2 young men with me this evening. They're about ready to go, so I'll make it short. We appreciate the support of the City Council and the city in supporting the planning staff of Ogden City and the Planning Commission and those decisions which are made in behalf of Ogden City. We do our best as a Planning Commission to make the correct and proper decisions for the citizens of this community. We appreciate your support. There are many communities throughout the nation that don't have that support for their planning staffs. There are many communities throughout the nation, as I visit other conferences, national conferences, that they don't have planning staffs for their communities. And you can see as you look at those communities what the difference is when you have a supported staff and you don't have a supported staff. We applaud you for assisting us in making this a great community and enduring the things that happen and the decisions that we make. Tomorrow evening, we've got some more good decisions to make, and we hope that you'll support us in those, and we appreciate all your support. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Brian. I say I am an unofficial emeritus planning commissioner because I served for 15 years. I stressed unofficial. I enjoyed my time on the Planning Commission. It is absolutely a labor of love. There is a zero paycheck for the planning commissioners. They come in every month and they do a lot of study on their own to make sure that they make wise decisions and recommendations for the bodies that hear those. I very much appreciate those good people that serve there. I salute you for the good work that you do. Thank you.
They make our job a lot easier. They're so important to our materials that's presented to us. They actually do all the legwork before we get it, and as I see it, they're a filter of a lot of projects that come through, and I appreciate all that they do and their plan and the planning staff there. So I think they're a valuable concept for us.
And I think they work a lot of late nights. You know, I'll come by on a Wednesday night and you'll see lights on. It's late and there's lights on and there's cars in the parking lot.
What's the time, the record, Brian? What's the? Yeah, it was about almost 12:20, I believe.
My first 3 times on the planning commission, it was after 12 o'clock.
Yeah.
From 4 o'clock until after 12, I thought, what have I done to myself?
But we appreciate the time commitment and careful consideration you give to things and all the work you do. So thank you.
And also, very much appreciated. But I think it's wonderful. Mark Johnson mentioned this, but the national notoriety we're getting with Newsweek magazine this week, and a lot of that is about the Planning Commission and the economic development, and you're a very huge part of that. So thank you, and you truly deserve this honor.
Tell the other commissioners they're really missing out. This is one of the meetings that you really get your kudos, we hope. We hope you feel the appreciation that we have for you. Any other comments for? Yes, Mr. Johnson.
I think we ought to also thank the planning staff. They work hard. I see what they do behind the scenes, and they're dedicated. I didn't think that when I was a planning commissioner, but I've actually seen the other side of it now. I'm convinced that they kick all of the defect planning commissioners aside. So that would be you and me.
That's us.
I didn't last as long as you did. But we thank you, planning commissioners, very, very much, and please express that to all of them. You do a great service, and I know how hard you work, and I appreciate that very much. Thanks, Jim.
Thank you. Any other comments before we move on? Okay, well, that's our first little part of our agenda. We'll move on now to the approval of minutes. First minutes are the closed session of June 9th, 2015, study session of August 18th, 2015, and the regular meeting of August 18th, 2015. Councilmember Blair.
Yes, thank you, Chair Heyer. I have reviewed those 3 meetings and found those minutes to be accurate.
Thank you. And then the work session of August 18th, 2015. Councilmember Wicks.
Thank you, Chair Heyer. I reviewed those minutes and found them to be accurate.
And then the joint work session of August 19th, 2015, Board of Canvass of August 25th, 2015, and work session of August 25th, 2015. Councilmember Garner.
Yes, Chair Heyer, I've reviewed those minutes and found them to be correct.
And then the study session of September 1st, 2015, and work session of September 1st, 2015. Councilmember Stevens.
Yes, Mr. Chair, they're correct.
And finally, the regular meeting of September 1st, 2015. Councilmember Gochner.
Thank you. I have reviewed those and found them to be accurate and would make a motion that we approve all the minutes.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilmember Gochner, seconded by Councilmember Garner, to approve the minutes. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, they'll stand as approved. Next item is a public hearing concerning fiscal year 2016 budget amendment, miscellaneous appropriations. Ms. Stout, welcome. Glad to have you with us. Thanks for your patience.
Thank you, Chair Heyer, Vice Chair White, and council members. It's an honor to be here. I'm here on behalf of administration to review the budget opening before you. This is a budget opening that will appropriate an additional $1,072,954 to the city budget. It consists of an appropriation in 4 different funds. In the general fund, we're appropriating a total of $42,248. Most of that, well, all of that actually, is from grant funding from the state, the RAMP grants, and then a private grant given to the Marshall White Center. In the CIP fund, we are appropriating a total of I need new glasses, $103,750. Some of this is money that's already been appropriated in the budget. We are reappropriating money to tennis court from the tennis courts to the general facilities CIP project. We're recognizing a donation of $5,000 from the Pickleball Association, and we are appropriating $40,000 in arts grant money for a wayfinding sign over at the junction. Additionally, we're recognizing Percent for Arts money. Most of this money was from fiscal year 15. This is kind of a cleanup to appropriate that money into the Percent for Arts. The water fund, we are appropriating $833,250 for the Trackline CIP project, along with the Percent for Arts portion of that. And then we are appropriating money for radios in the fire department from a federal grant they've received. Do you have any questions about these new appropriations?
Any questions for Lisa?
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Lisa. Okay, this is a public hearing. If there's anyone that wishes to address the council about this item, now would be the time. Okay, I'll look
Seeing
for
no movement, I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilmember Gochner, second by Councilmember Gardner to close the public hearing. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
And if there's no further discussion, I'll go ahead and make a motion that we adopt the budget amendment.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilmember Gochner, second by Councilmember Gardner to adopt ordinance 2015-42. This is a roll call vote.
Councilmember Blair?
Aye.
Councilmember Garner?
Aye.
Councilmember Gochner?
Aye.
Councilmember Stevens?
Aye.
Councilmember Wicks?
Aye.
Vice Chair White?
Aye.
Chair Heyer?
Aye. That passes. Next item is public comments. This is an opportunity to address the council regarding your concerns or ideas. Please state your name and address for the record and limit your comments to 3 minutes. Seeing no movement, comments from administration.
Nothing tonight, thanks.
Council members, any comments?
I'd just like to pass on to the administration. I got an email from a Jeff Jensen about the speed limit on 22nd Street above Harrison. He says it's 35 miles an hour, and other city streets it's 25, and he didn't understand why that was 35, but I don't.
We've studied 22nd several times, council member, and it's a collector road.
Okay.
And so we've kept it at 35. We've done, and the average speed on that road is about 36 or 37 miles per hour. So right now, our staff feels like it's the right speed limit. We are studying several other roads to see not only traffic count, but the average speed. We can determine that with what we put in the road that identifies as you cross them. So we'll have more information on a few other roads. We've also formed an in-house committee that is now going to start studying roads and start to get to determine if speed needs to be altered, if we need to put ways to slow traffic like four-way stops and things like that. So we're beginning the process to start a list of streets and start taking them by the ones we feel are the highest priority.
So if a citizen has a concern or a suggestion, could they contact the administration?
They could contact me, and I'd be happy to take that information.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, any other comments?
I have a couple.
Okay.
My first one is, don't forget the mail ballots came out today, or at least I got mine in the mail today, so don't forget to vote. My second is that in 2 years, it's been a very interesting agenda tonight. First of all, I think that we represented people, which I think is an amazing recognition. The second is we recognized foundation, and then the third thing is our finances. And I think those three things are very strong in our city, and I am glad to be part of the fabric as well. So, very interesting agenda tonight.
Indeed. Any other comments? Okay.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
A motion by Councilmember Gochner, second by Councilmember Garner to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
As a reminder, there will be a work session held immediately after this meeting, and we will have presentations from Ogden Nature Center and council business.